Hey there, thanks for checking out Time Stood Still Gaming. This is my new and first gaming channel that I've wanted to start for a long time. What I'm hoping for this channel is a complete integration of a Twitch community and a community here on YouTube. What I want to do is focus on a series, I guess, that I'm simply calling the PlayStation Backlog series. So what we're going to do in this series, in video format here on YouTube and live on Twitch, is go all the way back to 1995 when the PlayStation 1 was released. And what I really want to do is to just dig into the catalog. So what I've done is I've created pretty comprehensive lists for each generation of PlayStation consoles. And what I've done is I've organized them by release date. So I'm going to be playing through the catalog of PlayStation games in the order that they were released. I originally had the idea to just put all the games in each generation in a hat and do it kind of randomly. But I figure if I'm going back and doing a sort of retrospective, it would be cool to play them in the order that they were released. The rule for putting a game on the list was if I have played the game or if I had any passing interest in playing the game, either at the time or now. I'm really excited to see how these games make me feel, especially the ones that I've played before, sort of what sense of nostalgia they bring up in me. I'm really excited for that. And if I get any sort of following here on YouTube or over on Twitch, I will link that channel in the description, by the way. It'll be cool to interact with a small community and talk about memories of these games, how they make us feel, and if we haven't played them before, how we think we would have reacted to them. And if we're playing a new game, it'll be fun just to, well, have fun and critique it. So for each game that I play live over on Twitch, I'm going to be making at least one video for this channel here on YouTube. Now, I'm not exactly sure what each video is going to be for each game. I don't really want to cut together reviews for games that were released, 25 years ago, but I'll at least be making videos that talk about my experience with the games. So why the PS ecosystem? I know it might be fun to go back to the PS1 era and play games from all the different systems, but in reality, I am definitely most tapped in, I guess you could say, to the PlayStation ecosystem. Of course, I played Donkey Kong Country growing up. I played Pistols Only in Halo with my stepbrothers growing up. I have experiences in other fields of gaming, but I am definitely most plugged into the PlayStation ecosystem. So that's gonna be my focus, plain and simple. What I do wanna point out, while the list I have, for example, for the PlayStation 1 generation, I see it as pretty comprehensive. If I do build a little community around this, I would love to have some engagement and ask people to, ask the audience to maybe add games to the list through some sort of voting system. I'd love for us to build sort of a community ranking system where each person involved can sort of give a grade or a mark to each game, and at the end of each gen we can see how all the games stack up against each other. I think that would be really fun. So these lists are by no means fixed. I made them for me, games that I have played before, games that I missed as a kid and would love to play now. But if there's some, gem of the PS1 generation that I missed and didn't put into the list, then I'd love to hear from people and amend the list as needed. What's interesting is that the lists for the gens sort of get longer as the gens progress. I definitely became more and more of a gamer as I grew up and came into adulthood. The PS1 gen is by no means short. I think I have 50 plus games on the PS1 gen. And what's interesting about the PS1 list is that has the highest ratios of games that I haven't played. So when we get to PS2, 3, 4, a lot of that is going to be me replaying through the catalog because I was pretty big into the gaming world at that point. So I'm really stoked for the PS1 gen, although I'm sure it'll be frustrating with this old technology. I'm excited because there are a lot of games that I haven't played on that list. But as we get into PS2, 3, and 4 gen, some of them have like 80 plus games per gen, per console. So we'll see how long this takes to get through, but it's a ride I'm willing to take. I'm really interested in seeing how these games make us feel. A really good example is last year, I did a pretty thorough playthrough of Death Stranding on PS4. I did it right as those first lockdowns and quarantines were hitting. And it was really, really interesting to play a game that was about connection, that was about human interaction during that time. The external real world forces added a layer to that game that was really, really interesting. And I think something like nostalgia, something as simple as nostalgia, can add that layer as well. So I'm interested to go back to these games from yesteryear and see what feelings they bring up in me or us. I'm fascinated by things like that, how media makes us feel, especially with the interactive elements of video games. I'm just so pumped to see how each individual title makes me feel. What I'm going to do now, and at the time of recording, I have no idea how many games I'm going to put on the screen, or really what games specifically I'm going to put on the screen, but these are some of my favorite games of all time, just so you know where I'm coming from. This is in no particular order, okay? I did not put my favorite game of all time first. I don't have time to sort through that mess in my head right now. As you can see, I like narrative-rich games. I like atmosphere-rich games. Those are definitely the two most important aspects of a title that get me interested. I can definitely look over some subpar or shoddy gameplay if the atmosphere and story are there and on point. Your boy is locked in and ready. For example, a game from the PS3 generation that I really, really liked upon release was the original Nier. Now, that game has a killer soundtrack, one of the best atmospheres I've experienced, at least in that generation. But even at the time of release, I was like, this doesn't play so well. But it was one of my favorite games of that gen because of the just on point atmosphere and environment that it created. So I think that bunch of games will give you a kind of perspective of maybe what games I will enjoy and what games I won't. That being said, I'm not just including games like that in my lists. I'm open to all games, I'm open to all experiences. Those are just the games that tend to grip me and that I tend to lean towards. So yeah, I'm gonna start diving into the list in my next video. I forgot to say, I would love to keep the list private as we move along, so that every time I finish a game, if I do build a small community around this, there'll be a sort of anticipation for the reveal of the next game on the list. So yes, in my next video, I will start with game 1 on the PlayStation 1. This game came out on release. It was a launch title with the PlayStation 1. So that is kind of a big hint as to what it can be, but that will be my first game. I will be streaming it live on Twitch, a link in the description. A video talking about that game will be up here soon. So yeah, this is what I'm doing now. I'm really, really, really excited. I hope people come on board. I hope I can build, a small community of people around this. Have some fun conversations, have some fun rules of engagement on Twitch and here on YouTube. So yeah, thanks for watching this quick introductory video, and I hope to see you in the future. Bye!